Hare Krishna, Uttam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavats, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
It's great. I just got a little delayed in joining. Can we start?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, just give me a minute. I think your video needs to be turned on again.
Sorry, Prabhu, I didn't get that.
No, I was just saying that your video has to be turned on again.
Yeah, 1 second. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari यमुनतीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय राधा विनोद राधा विनोद राधे जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल
हरे
हरि
कृष्ण
नाम
devotee
संकीर्तन
की जय।
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य श्रोतर शत His Divine Grace अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य श्रोतर शत His Divine Grace श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्रीदास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ श्री गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन गिरिराज महाराज की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माय की जय। जमुना माय की जय। कावेरी माय की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories and glories and glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयन्ति सृजे नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतं सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलं गायतेन्द्रियं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदन्तारिणं परमानन्दं माधवम् Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. The continuation happens from Canto 5, Chapter 7, and the text number is 5 today that we are reading. Allow me to share my screen so we can go into it.
As you're sharing the screen, Prabhu, Hare Krishna
Yes,
and welcomes.
I've
Um,
shared. I've shared.
yes,
Is
Hare
that
Krishna
okay?
devotees. Yes, it's visible. I just wanted a quick round of introduction for Prabhu. Prabhu, Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya on a Saturday morning. Today we have the privilege of having the association of His Grace Uttam Damodar Prabhu. He's a very senior devotee from ISKCON Sheshadripuram, and we have the privilege of having this association. Prabhu, over to you. Nandavats.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I'm not senior, but trying to be a devotee. I'll try my best to do justice to whatever I have been asked to do the seva today. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam today. As we said, we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 7.
Prabhu, your voice is breaking a bit. Do you want me to share? Because without sharing, it was pretty good.
Okay, maybe
I'm not.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing and you could share it from.
Sure, Prabhu. If you want something, let me know. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. You could share it and see if that works better.
Can you see the screen, Prabhu?
Yes, I am Prabhu. Ije cha bhagavatam yagna kraturupam kratubhi uchchavibha Shraddhaya artha agnihotra darsa purnamasa chaturmasya pasu somanam prakriti vikrabheti anusavanam chatuhotra vidhinam Ije cha bhagavatam yagna kruturupam kratubhi uchchavachi Shraddhaya artha agnihotra darsa purnamasa chaturmasya pasu somanam prakriti vikriti bhi anusavanam chatuhotra vidhinam Ije cha bhagavatam yagna kraturupam kratubhi uchchavi Shraddhaya artha agnihotra darsa purnamasya chaturmasya vasu somanam prakriti vikriti bhi anusavanam chaturhotra vidhina. Word to word translation. Iche worship. Cha also. Bhagavatam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yagna Kraturupam, having the form of sacrifices without animal and sacrifices with animals. Kratubhi, by such sacrifices. Uchchavachi, very great and very small. Shraddhaya, with faith. Aharta, being performed. Agnihotra, of the Agnihotra Yagna. Darsa, of the Darsa Yagna. Purnamasa, of Purnamasa Yagna. Chaturmasya, of the Chaturmasya Yagna. Pasu Somanam, the Yagna with animals and the Yagna with Somarasa. Prakriti, by the full performances. Vikratibhi, and the partial performances. Anusavanam, almost always. Chatuhotra Vidhina, by the regulative principles of sacrifice directed by 4 kinds of priests. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. With great faith, King Bharata performed various kinds of sacrifices. He performed the sacrifices known as Agnihotra, Darsa, Purnamasa, Chaturmasya, Pasuyagna, wherein the horse is sacrificed, and Somayagna, where a kind of beverage is offered. Sometimes the sacrifices were performed completely and sometimes partially. In any case, in all the sacrifices, the regulations of Chaturhotra were strictly followed. In this way, Bharat Maharaj worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Animals like horses and cows were offered in the sacrifice to test the proper execution of the sacrifice. Otherwise, there is no purpose in killing the animal. Actually, the animal was offered in the sacrificial fire to get a rejuvenated life. Generally, an old animal was sacrificed in the fire and it would come out again in a youthful body. Some of the rituals, however, did not require animal sacrifice. In the present age, animal sacrifice are forbidden as stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ashwamedam Gavalambam Sanyasam Phala Paikritam Devarena Sutotpatim Kalau Pancha Vivarjayet. In this age of Kali, 5 acts are forbidden: the offering of horse in sacrifice, the offering of cow in sacrifice, the acceptance of order of sannyasa, the offering of oblation of flesh to the forefathers, and a man's begetting children in his own brother's wife. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 17.164. Such sacrifices are impossible in the age due to the sanctity of expert brahmanas, scarcity of expert brahmanas or ritvija, who are able to take the responsibility. In the absence of these, the Sankita Yagna is recommended. Yagnai Sankitana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedashaha from Bhagavatam 11.5.32. After all sacrifices are executed to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yagnartha Karma. Such activity should be carried out by the Supreme for the Supreme Lord's pleasure. In this age of Kali, the Supreme Lord, in his incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, should be worshipped with his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yagna, the congregation of chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This process is accepted by intelligent men. Yagnai Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedashaha. The word Sumedashaha refers to intelligent men who possess very good brain substance. Om Tat Sat, thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 7, and text number 5. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manohistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagujatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatadine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Something very interesting as we see the lifetime of, or understand the lifetime of a great devotee, Bharat Maharaj. And in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is very, very strong on certain things, saying that what should be not done in the age of Kali. Yeah, the 5 acts which are forbidden. And where we were seeing all these things happening in the past, so we always feel that we should be doing whatever is being done and whatever is done by seniors or whatever is done by the previous acharyas. But here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very categoric. And he said, no, this cannot be done. The horse sacrifice. You would say, why was it done in the past? Yeah, it was done by Lord Ramachandra. It was done by various other kings. It was done by Indra. It was done by so many other Vaishnavas, or I would say Raja Rishis, but then why is it forbidden here? And the second one is offering a cow in the sacrifice, which is also not acceptable. The acceptance of order of sannyasa. This is one point of discussion that we will have today, which is very important. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says that the acceptance of order of sannyasa is forbidden. But we will have this question as to why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself take sannyas? Okay, that's one discussion that we will have. And offering of oblation to the forefathers, that is flesh as the oblation, and a man begetting children in his brother's wife. That is when the brother leaves the body and his wife does not have any children. In the past, it was allowed that the man can beget children in his brother's wife. So these are 5 things which are forbidden. And why is it forbidden? Because in the age of Kali, there is scarcity of expert brahmanas. We can't even go beyond it. We are forgetting about. We are talking about this huge sacrifices of horse or offering cow in the sacrifice or acceptance of sannyasa. In this age of Kali, you don't get pure material to even perform yagnas. You don't get pure brahmanas. You don't get expert brahmanas to perform yagnas. Forget anything else. You don't even get pure water to offer it in the yagnas. No pure ghee is available. That is also contaminated. There is so many things which are being added. So we don't have brahmanas who can take responsibilities of such huge sacrifices that needs to be performed. So that's the reason such sacrifices are not recommended. In the absence of such things, in the absence of such expert brahmanas, it is advisable that the Sankirtan Yagna is to be done in the age of Kali. And this was given in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 5 and 32nd verse. Yagnai Sankirtana Praye Yajantihi Sumedha Shaha. After all the sacrifices are executed, why do we do the sacrifices? They are actually executed or they're done for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in the age of Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be very simply pleased by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Yeah. And this pleasure which the Lord gets by just chanting the holy name of the Lord is more than enough to compensate against all the other yagnas or the sacrifices which were happening in the previous yugas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, did Sankirtan Yagna. He taught us by his own example. And the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the best process in the age of Kali. So this is where, we'll have this conversation around. And the word Sumedha Shaha refers to intelligent men. Yeah. Who are intelligent men? Not intelligent men who do PhDs or do degrees or do, certain research. No. Intelligent men are those men who possess good brain substance in the service of the Lord, who think of the Lord, who talk about the Lord, who preach about the Lord, are called intelligent men. So this instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which we see here, this was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Chand Kazi. While having the conversation after he broke the Mridanga, Chand Kazi regrets it, and then he calls Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying that, hey, you're related to me. Come, we will have this conversation. And while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meets Chand Kazi, he gives this instruction saying that these 5 things are to be forbidden. But one may think that why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving this instruction of not taking the sannyas ashram? But he himself is giving. But is it allowed? Is it not allowed? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks about this when Vishwarup takes sannyas. And he gives this example saying that when Vishwarup is taking sannyas to pacify his mother, he says this is very good. both the families from the maternal side and the paternal side, both the families are delivered. So it is important that one takes sannyas. This is what he convinces his mother. Is it not a contradictory statement? It is not, absolutely. It is a very valid statement. One accepts sannyas for dedicating one's life to the service of the Lord, which is very, very important. And in 1968, Srila Prabhupada was talking about this lecture in the US, and he said, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take sannyas from a Mayavadi sannyasi? It is not very important who is giving sannyas. It is just a formality that one needs to take sannyas. Yes, the Mayavadis also follow the Vedic rules. You can accept sannyas even from a Mayavadi. But on the contrary, we have to see Mayavadis say that I am God. That should not come into one's mind. You have to transcend to the platform where you are preaching the holy name of the Lord. You are talking about Krishna consciousness. At the same time, you don't start saying that you are God or your supreme personality of Godhead. In the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can also see that though he accepted the sannyas from Keshav Bharati, he did not accept the title of Bharati. He didn't call himself Chaitanya Bharati. Yeah. He still continued to call himself Chaitanya. Yeah. He did not take that title of a Mayavadi. Mayavadis think that they are God. But as devotees of the Lord, as Vaishnavas, we always think that we are servants of the God. If one has to take sannyas, he has to take, this is the parampara that we follow. If one has to take sannyas, he has to take the sannyas from another sannyasi. It cannot be taken from a normal person or a grahastha. Yeah. Likewise, the example is given that if you need to get into wedlock or if you have to perform your marriage, if one needs to get into, the married life, he needs a brahmana or a priest. But at the same time, you did not accept the opinion of that priest or brahmana who's performing the yagna. Yeah, if he follows a different part of it, it's just a formality. That is the reason you need a brahmana or a priest to perform the marriage ceremony. Okay. At the same time, Sri Prabhupada in one of his lectures talk about this very, very clearly. He says Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami did not accept saffron. And why did they not accept saffron clothing? Because they felt that they were not qualified to accept saffron. Yeah, they were not qualified to be the sannyasis. And then at a later date, we see that Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj introduced the saffron clothing. It is described by Sri Prabhupada that actually we want to remain under a Vaishnava. And that is the reason we accept the saffron clothing. And in the comparison, if you see a Vaishnava is much higher than a sannyasi. In technical terms, if we see. In Chaitanya Charitamrita itself, it is said that the Vaishnava is a Paramahamsa. Yeah. And we don't claim the position of a sannyasa above a Vaishnava Paramahamsa. And sannyasa is just a material position. And it's not a position that one should really one should really look forward to. Yeah. So that is the reason that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj introduced this saffron clothing. And the second reason for introducing the saffron clothing or taking sannyasa by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, so that we don't imitate Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. I'm sure we have all noticed the pictures or wherever pastimes that we talk about Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. They're never in saffron clothing. They're always in white clothing. And there's another reason to this also, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj in those days saw the success of Ramakrishna mission sannyasis. And people thought that if it is spoken by a saffron-clad person, then it should be accepted as a, order or very, very authorized. So that is the reason that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj introduced the saffron clothing. And these are all examples given by Srila Prabhupada. This is not spoken by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. These are clarifications which are given by Srila Prabhupada for accepting sannyasa. There's another very small pastime which we should really go through. This is given in Chaitanya Bhagavat. One day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Navadvip, and he comes in the mood of Radharani, and he starts screaming or shouting or calling out Vrindavan, 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 Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. And one of his, co-student, another student who was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Nimai, why are you chanting Gopi? And what piety will you achieve by chanting Gopi? The highest is Krishna's name. Why are you chanting Gopi? So Nimai Pandit at that point of time tells this co-student, his fellow student, saying that Krishna is actually a rogue. Who will worship him? He killed Bali by hiding behind the tree. He took away everything from Bali Maharaj. So he's a rogue. You should not worship Krishna at all. You should only worship Radharani. So here we always see that why do we have to worship Radharani? So one cannot get the lotus feet of Krishna without remembering Srimati Radharani. And that is the example that was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. But at the same time, we should understand that we are not qualified directly to speak about Srimati Radharani. She's at a very, very, very elevated position. And you cannot imitate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So for us, our acharyas have given the name of Krishna, and we speak about the holy name of the Lord by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that is where you will also see a lot of devotees or a lot of people in Sriram Vrindavan, talking about only name of Radharani, but we are not qualified. And when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Radharani is also mentioned. And that is the reason that our acharyas have given us this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and one should not chant only the name of Radharani. We should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which also is an inclusive mantra, which talks about Krishna, Radha, and Rama. So here in this example where we see this Nimai Pandit talking about it, saying that you should remember Radharani so that you could get the lotus feet of Krishna. One will not get the lotus feet of Krishna without remembering Radharani. There's another example or another reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself took the sannyas ashram is that you're creating a medicine to remove mucus, but that medicine itself is giving you more mucus. And that is the reason if you don't take sannyas, nobody listen to us. Why do we listen to sannyasis? Because we give them respect. We have awe and reverence for them. Because they are saffron-cladded, we know that they have given up the material entanglements of life. And that is the only reason that we respect the sannyasis. And this parampara continued after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj insisted that one should take sannyasa. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself gave this example by his own becoming a sannyasa, by his own becoming or by his own taking sannyasa ashram. So it is very important that we give that awe and reverence, and people respect a sannyasi. But as devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, we should always think that even without being sannyasis, we should preach the holy name of the Lord. We should always talk to people about the holy name of the Lord, inspire them to chant the holy name of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. At the end of the translation and purport, Srila Prabhupada very clearly says that Sankirtana Yagna is recommended. Yagnai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedashaha. And we say the sacrifice of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or rather the chanting of the holy name of or chanting the holy name of Hare Krishna itself is a sacrifice, and one needs to perform the Sankirtan Yagna. It's a Yagna by itself. The congregational chanting of the holy name or congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra itself is Sankirtan Yagna. And this is accepted by the intelligent people. So we are all intelligent people because somehow or the other we have come in contact with this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now it is the responsibility of each one of us being a part of the movement to ensure that we preach this holy name, we talk about the holy name to the others, give this knowledge of Sankirtan Yagna to others, and make their life perfect. By making their life perfect, our life is becoming perfect. It is like giving something to somebody, at the same time retaining it and multiplying it. It is like knowledge. Knowledge, when you share it with others, you don't lose the knowledge. It actually multiplies because you are giving that knowledge. While giving the knowledge, you're talking about the knowledge, you're thinking about the knowledge, you're acting on the basis of the knowledge. So it multiplies. Likewise, when we are giving this Bhakti Marga to people in this age of Kali, it actually multiplies on our own, this one. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, all our Vaishnavas are very, very compassionate towards us, saying that they wanted us to get this because the age of Kali is very, very destructful. We will never think of the holy name of the Lord, never worship the Lord. And that is the reason they give away this Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the benefit of people at large. But for devotees like us, for our own benefit, we should give it to the others. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never thought that, he will get benefited by giving the Sankirtan Yagna. He gave it for the benefit of people of Kali Yuga. But on the contrary, if we see, as devotees, when we start talking about it, we multiply our benefits, we multiply our spiritual life, or we enhance our material life. We enhance our spiritual life. And that is the reason that we should always talk about the holy name of the Lord, give it out to people as much as possible, and not necessary that one can do service to the Lord only by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Yes, that is the basis. We can go out and distribute books, which is another very, very important thing. Srila Prabhupada said these are like time bombs. And when time bomb explodes, it can destroy the whole Kali. That is why he said, go out and give these books. Go out and give these books. They may not read it at this point of time. I remember of a devotee, very senior devotee, to whom I was talking. And he said, while he was at Chicago, somebody forced him, though he comes from a background of a Vaishnava family, the so-called Vaishnava, we call ourselves a so-called Vaishnava family. He said, I come from a family where we would worship many devatas, and we would always perform something or the other which is going on. And when he was in the US on his job, one of the devotees gave him the Bhagavad Gita. And he took Bhagavad Gita as it is, and he kept it as it is. He never opened it for so many years. And this was in 1981, and then he got married in 1983. And in about 84, 85, his wife, who conceived, she asked for a book to be read. And somehow the other, Prabhu picked up this book and gave Bhagavad Gita to her. And she started reading, and she spent 2 nights and 2 days completely in reading Bhagavad Gita. And she said, now you take me to the ISKCON temple nearby in Chicago. And that's where it exploded. Now, this devotee family, I'm sure all of you know about this devotee family. They started a temple in a place called Boise in United States of America. It's in between the mountains, and it's a beautiful place where Prabhu's name is Anantarupa Prabhu. And when Mataji took it up very seriously, and then Prabhu followed him. You look at where the Bhagavad Gita was distributed, where it came, and how it started exploding. And Mataji took it up very seriously. And when they moved from Chicago to Boise, they wanted associations. They started getting people together of Indian origin and started a very small place. In their house itself, they started a small altar, started inviting people to come and sit with them and talk about Bhagavad Gita. And then as it grows today, Boise is a very big temple. Not only that, Mataji is very well known for the homeschooling. They did homeschooling for two of their children, that is Gopal and Radharaman Prabhu and Gopal Prabhu. And they got their PhD, and they're currently with, I think Radharaman Prabhu is with the Oxford University. And Gopal Prabhu is in Chicago now, at a very high position. Again, high position with preaching the holy name of the Lord. So the example was given here just to understand as to when it can explode. So our job or our responsibility lies where we start giving out this holy name of the Lord. We start giving out this time bombs, which are actually manufactured or actually written by Srila Prabhupada, translated by Srila Prabhupada and given to us so that we can give it to people. And it is the responsibility of all the people in this Vaishnava parampara that we should go out and give the holy name of the Lord. So this chapter is mainly talking about the qualities of Bharat Maharaj. And at one point of time, Bharat Maharaj, starting off this itself says that with great faith, in the translation, Srila Prabhupada says that with great faith, King Bharat Maharaj performed various kinds of sacrifices. He performed Agnihotra, he performed Darsha, he performed Purnamasa, he performed Chaturmasya, he performed Pashu Yagna, he performed Soma Yagna, and this was done either partially or completely. And at the end of the translation, Srila Prabhupada very clearly says, in any case, in all the sacrifices, the regulations of Chaturhotra were strictly followed. In this way, Bharat Maharaj worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We may also sometimes think that, why were they offering Soma Yagna or why are we offering Pashu Yagna? On the contrary, in the current scenario, many people offer this Pashu Bali, which is not the same as Pashu Yagna. They offer the animal to a demigod, and what do they want to do it? They want to eat it, and that's the reason they do it. But in case of Pashu Yagna, which is performed by Vaishnavas like Bharat Maharaj, the Pashu or the animal goes into the sacrifice. It's an old animal, which is elderly animal, which is being offered, and the animal gets the new life and comes back, young life. And this is to test the authenticity of the yagna which was performed, that everything that was done, all these days, and it goes on for days and months. Many times it goes on for months together, this yagnas. And to ensure that it is completed, that is where they offer the Pashu. And when the Pashu comes out from the fire sacrifice again, that means everything has been successfully done and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased. And, there's a success for this yagna which is offered. So it is very important that we offer in this age of Kali the Sankirtan yagna. And how will our yagna be tested, whether it is successfully done or not? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everybody and every town and village to chant the holy name of the Lord. Sarvatra prachar hoive mora naam. He said, every town and village, my name will be sung. Srila Prabhupada also said that if you offer one soul at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that means your life has been successful. That doesn't mean that we should only preach to one person. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada just gave this as an example so that everybody connected with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness should at least get one devotee and offer it at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we see offer it at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, offer it as an offering, as a gift to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that you've given us so much. I can't do so much for you, but at least I'm offering one. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada preached to thousands and thousands of people. And our acharyas are also traveling so extensively. If you see any of our acharyas in the parampara, they are traveling so extensively just to preach the holy name of the Lord. They've gone to far-flung places. They've gone to all difficult places. They travel jet lags and all that difficulties that they go through. But then they do it just for pleasing Srila Prabhupada. And the outcome of this pleasing can come out only with how many devotees that we've got connected with our temple, with our bhakti kutir, with our bhakti vriksha. So that's the outcome that we would really look at when we look at performing this Sankirtan Yagna. It is also considered in how many books that we distribute, because I gave this example of Bhagavad Gita. These are time bombs which can explode and really create revolution in the life of people. And we've seen it. This was just one example that we've seen. There are many devotees who come and who've taken up to Krishna consciousness just by reading some of those books Srila Prabhupada translated for us. And it is very much practical that some of us have also come to Krishna consciousness just by reading some of the books. Okay. So it is very important for us to go out and preach the holy name, preach the Sankirtan Yagna, distribute the books, get people connected with the movement by either way of, bhakti vrikshas or outreach programs, any such things. So this is where the whole translation of today's verses, or the Samandhoman of today's verses, saying that with all the sacrifices that we offer, the most important sacrifice is chanting the holy name of the Lord, or Sankirtan Yagna, with which we can get many, many, many people connected with our movement. And not necessarily that one needs to take sannyas ashram. Yes, if there is a possibility, if somebody can, remain brahmachari and then move into sannyas ashram, it is possible with these 4 stages that we see of brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Somebody can jump 2 steps. It is possible. For some of them, it is possible, which is very nice. People can still take sannyas ashram and travel extensively. We've seen our acharyas in our parampara itself who travel extensively. Some of them very, very young in the age that we consider the material age, but still they have been preaching so extensively and traveling so extensively on the orders of their spiritual master. The same thing can be done by all of us by following the instructions of our Guru Maharaj, following the instructions of all the acharyas in the parampara, by preaching the holy name of the Lord and getting more and more people connected with our movement to take up to Krishna consciousness and then progress further. They can, again, this is multi-level marketing. One preaches to two, two preaches to four, four preaches to, it multiplies. 4 becomes 16. So it's a multiplicatory factor that needs to be really seen. So we should take up very seriously, follow the instructions of the Vaishnavas and take up the preaching very, very nicely so that we can progress further in our spiritual life. Okay, Hare Krishna. I didn't realize when my line got disconnected. I was going on and on with the class. Okay, okay. Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you have muted yourself. Prabhu, you'll have to unmute.
Oh, now your line is muted. Yeah. Since you had a call, I had to mute the line. Sorry, Prabhu. Prabhu, it's still muted.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So this is where we come from, saying that, it is our responsibility that we preach the holy name of the Lord and ensure that we follow the instructions of the Vaishnavas so that we can grow the movement and give the benefit what we have got from our acharyas to all the other Vaishnavas and ensure that we grow in our family. And the ultimate aim of our taking up to Krishna consciousness is, one is going back home, that is for ourselves, and also taking many more devotees back home, back to Godhead. So this is where we will end our conversation. If there are any questions, please ask, and please make any comments if there is anything that we can.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful nectar. Thank you so much. And just a few key things which I really liked it. I just want to put that. So you cover about the 5 prohibited acts in the Kali Yuga, and you talked about how the Sankirtana Yajna, which actually pleases the Lord, and that is the actual yajna we perform during the Kali Yuga. You talked about this is what is intelligence? It's like good brains which should be used to preach the glory to the Lord. And you said how fortunate we are to be, though we may not consider ourselves intelligent, but we are very intelligent and fortunate because we are chanting the holy name. You just mentioned about the portion of Srimati Radharani that one cannot get Krishna without remembering lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and how important it is. That's why in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, her name is already within that. So we have Srimati Radharani and Radha and Krishna. Krishna and Rama all are included in that. And you also talked about why the sannyas was basically prohibited, and you just how over a period of time there is acharyas, how they used it to make sure we can preach the holy name across the world. You also talked about the by sharing this knowledge, it only multiplies, so we are even more benefited through that. And you talked about the how compassionate our the acharyas are in actually giving us the holy name. And you talked about very wonderfully about the books, which are nothing but time bomb, and we should engage in preaching this. And engage in the distribution of these books. And you gave a wonderful example of how one book at some point of time exploded, and it created so many congregations. So it's actually very nice. And you said about the offering of at least one devotee at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu would make him very, very happy. That is the fruit of the entire sacrifice which we are trying to do. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So I've just opened the lines. I've unmuted, so devotees are requested to unmute their lines and share their comments or any questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Uttam Damodar Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna,
very much for a very
Prabhu.
nice class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one question and one comment, Prabhuji. The question is, Prabhuji, so here it is very clearly mentioned that the sacrifice, fire sacrifice is not recommended in the age of Kali because we don't have pure, we don't have Brahmana, qualified Brahmana, we don't have the sacrificial items which are pure in nature. But in our ISKCON temples, we conduct a lot of fire sacrifice, Prabhuji. It's not this one, but we conduct a lot of yajna. How to understand that, Prabhuji?
Prabhu, if you see the purport of Srila Prabhupada in this particular context, there are 5 types of sacrifices which are not recommended. But as we move forward, we also look at, because you don't get the pure items, so we've also kind of said that you shouldn't have elaborate fire sacrifice. But at the same time, if we see in the temple, Srila Prabhupada himself did the yagyas. Yagyas for initiation, yagyas for marriage, yagyas for starting a new temple, yeah, or starting a farm. So these are recommended. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada also created Brahmanas who can chant the holy names, who can chant the mantras, who also know how to, do the fire sacrifice. So we have qualified people within our movement. So I wouldn't want to name, but then there are many devotees within our own circles within Bangalore who are qualified to do the yagyas, and they are doing it. At the same time, if you see Mayapur, we have a Gurukul where children are trained how to perform the yagyas. So we will be bringing that culture into it. So the understanding here has to be very clear, saying that instead of just going to a XYZ priest and getting a yagya done, it is always advisable to get a qualified Brahmana to do the yagya. How do we identify a qualified Brahmana? We ourselves are not qualified to identify. So we depend on our own movement of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and there are certain devotees who are trained within the movement, and they can come and perform the yagya. So if you see the inauguration of a lot of our temples, we get devotees from Mayapur. So if you see the inauguration of Radha Vinod Temple, we got devotees from Mayapur who performed the yagya. We got devotees from Udupi to perform the yagyas. So we have to identify, because they are made within the movement, they are made within the institution, and we should have this yagyas done by them. But we don't do elaborate yagyas for days together, months together, which was happening in the past. So this is what is the understanding that one should really take, saying that because we don't have, doesn't mean that we stop it completely, but the basics have to be done. But it has to be done by the qualified Brahmanas within our community. I hope that answers your question, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Very,
And
very
that's
nice
clear.
question, because this is something that all of us ask when we read the books. We always feel that we've been asked not to do any yagyas, and very valid question, Prabhu, for all of us at large. Thank you very much for asking that question.
And one comment, Prabhuji, I hear from another lecture, I thought of sharing it. Why
Yes.
Mahaprabhu actually took sannyasa from impersonalist sampradaya, it is because during that time, lot of impersonalists, sannyasis, they were actually preaching impersonalist philosophy. So Mahaprabhu intelligently thought, if I accept sannyasa from them, and then if he goes and preaches, they will think that oh, he is Swajana, but Mahaprabhu can actually preach the philosophy of personalism and pure bhakti. So I hear that from one senior devotee, probably thought of sharing that.
Yes, Prabhu, very nicely summed up. Thank you so much for adding that, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. There is any other question or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I
Hare
think
Krishna.
Mataji is there. Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
No, Prabhu, I didn't get that point what Sankarshan Priyas told about the thing. Can you just repeat it, Prabhu?
What Sankarshan Priya Prabhu made point was, Mataji, saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas diksha from a Mayavadi,
Yes.
because at that particular point of time, Mayavad was at its peak, and people would respect the Mayavad. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took this initiation from Keshav Bharati, the sannyas initiation from Keshav Bharati, so that people will respect him. At the same time, he will preach the Sanatan Dharma. He will preach the holy name of the Lord. That is what Prabhu, intended to.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Dandavata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, though we have some qualified Brahmanas in Mayapur or Udupi or elsewhere, but they are limited to only fire sacrifices, no, Prabhu?
Very true.
Yes, Prabhu.
Where
Other
in the
than that,
Shastra itself, it has said that, the other sacrifices should not be done at all. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has that very clear instruction that even in the previous yugas, they were doing this Pashu sacrifice, which we are not able to do it now because we ourselves are not very clear.
yes, Prabhu. So, though we perform it is only limited to fire sacrifice.
Yes, it is limited only to fire sacrifice. That also not extended once.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Very wonderful Nectarian lecture, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the nectarian class, Prabhu. Can you please repeat the 5 prohibited sacrifices?
The 5 prohibited sacrifices are Pashu sacrifice. I'll just go through it once again. Known as Agnihota, that's okay. Sorry. We are forbidden from offering a horse in the sacrifice, offering a cow in the sacrifice, acceptance of order of sannyasa, and offering oblation of flesh to the forefathers, and a man's begetting children in his brother's wife. These are 5 things which are forbidden.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhaji.
Yes, we just passed the time right now, Prabhu. So thank you again, Prabhu, for giving your association. It's been a wonderful time for all of us. And thank you, devotees, for actually joining on a Saturday morning for Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya class. So we'll just end the class with the Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpataru kripa sindhu evacha Tikanam pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Anantakoti Vaishnavan ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavats.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.